So welcome to the episode 1, and this episode is simply that I will be covering some things about Blender that you should already know. So this is not an introduction to Blender, but rather a recall for some of the stuffs you'll be doing. So I just want to show you all of that because I think that will give you some refresher. If you know this, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you already know, you should not be having any issue. And yes, I'll be going a little faster. I apologize for that. If you want to actually learn Blender and all that, there's a great video by Blender Guru on how to make a donut. So let's first of all, I'll show you how to create a file. So you see in Blender, like when you go to the flash screen, by the way, I'm 13.5.1. In the later episodes, this might go to just the version 3, which happens to because that's a little older recording. But it's all the same. Just for the video editing, okay, that's the first thing you might see. What is video editing? So video editing is simply that you just use it for video editing, right? VFX for virtual effects. Sculpting is for like use maybe like making a model of a human or just a animal, a bear, like, or maybe just something like a tree, or even a teddy bear. 2D animation is similar to 3D animation. 2D animation is on 2D, well 3D is 3D, and the hash, it doesn't make the same, but they're both animation. They have very similar principles that apply to them. But 3D is like everything is calculated for you. Well, on 2D you have to draw each and everything. Of course, you can use tweening. You can use calculations of program. I'm not sure Blender has it, but a lot of normal animation programs like Adobe's, I believe, Flash used to have a tweening system which it could use to calculate the animation for you, which was amazing until Adobe, of course, discontinued. By the way, not sponsored by Adobe. So next is general, which is the overall encompassing file. It's the best file. It's the file you should always click because it has everything you ever need, or almost always, because VFX, it's kind of easy just to click VFX. So first of all, I will talk about how to move in Blender, because I think that is, if you know that, you know everything, right? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you have to click Shift and then middle mouse button on your mouse, or just use your 2 fingers on your trackpad to move like this. Okay, it's a pan. You can it's called pan around, I think so. Okay, and then if you want to rotate, you have just clicked. You don't have to click anything. Just you have to click the middle mouse button on your mouse, or you can just use your 2 fingers to move around like this. So rotate. Okay. Also, you can do the same thing with this, and you can move with this. So that's that. And also, let's talk about how to just delete stuff and how to add stuff, right? I think that is something we will discuss. So let's go with how to add. To add stuff, you have to click Shift and A to add stuff. You can add everything you ever want to desire. Okay, let's add icosphere. Why not? And for now, it's not showing. Let me just show you. This is an icosphere. And by the way, I'm just going to click delete for now. Just don't worry about it. Whatever. By the way, you saw that how the cube just disappeared. The reason it disappeared was simply because I just clicked H to hide. Okay, and unhide, just click Alt H. It unhides everything. So that's one way to add the object. How to add another way? We just click Add, and you can add the object through here. I don't use this. It's just to further. Just use shortcuts. That's just something. Okay. How to delete stuff? To delete stuff, you have to just click this or anything. In fact, you can click anything you want. It's better not to delete cameras, but you can delete camera. You can delete anything actually. Just click this. It highlights in yellow, which is by default, or in orange. Depends on the way you see it. You just click delete. That deletes. But I recommend you clicking X. The reason being I recommend you clicking X because it kind of gives you confirmation, which is very good. Yeah, of course you can go directly to delete. It doesn't really matter. But confirmation is always good, right? It saves a lot of hassle. And so that is that. Okay, so that is how to delete stuff and how to add stuff. So I'm just gonna mark these off. So that's that. And also now I'm gonna talk about how to manipulate objects. I'm gonna add a cube, okay, and let's tell you how to manipulate objects. That's the main thing. If you know how to do this, then the modeling journey is now much easier because that's the introduction to all modeling journeys. You have to know how to transform an object to basic shapes. The way you do this is you're gonna click G, and for G, it means grab, and you can actually move the object anywhere in space. So you can also just keep moving it. So that's pretty cool. Also, if you want to move on a specific axis, these are axes. These are X, Y, and Z mentioned here, right? What you can do is you can click G and X, and you can move Y, and you can move Z, and you can move like that. So yeah. So remember again, G and X, you can move. So then you can click Y after that, you can click Z. And to escape this control and all that, you just click escape to escape that thing. Good. So now that's how to move around an object. Let's move it here. Why not? So you can move. And to and apply that movement, just click left click, okay, to enter that thing, or you can say, enter the movement. To rotate, you just click R and you can rotate, or you can click R again, which gives you a gimbal, so it can give you a full control of the movement, which I recommend you using if you want to create or have more control. But that's that. But how to move in a specific axis? You click R and you can click X, just like in the grab, click Y, and you can click Z to rotate like that, and escape to escape all of that. Okay, to scale, I recommend you just click with S, and then you can scale, and scale in specific axis, X like this, Y like this, Z like this. Okay, and to escape, just click escape on the top left hand side corner. Okay, so that's great, but is there, I don't want to learn a shortcut, you might say. That's not a good way to say, or actually use Blender actually. But if you want to do that, by some odd reason you forget, you can just hover over here. You got move, which shows G, as you can see, move, R, and then scale S, and then transform, which is T. But yeah, you can just click the object, and then you can click move. It gives you these arrows, which are, let's say, you should never actually want to ever see them ever again, because they're very slow. And you can scale. This is actually pretty useful. I've seen artists using this even if this scale is available, so rotate is available. I just feel like, I don't know why, but I think it's something to do with the amount of control, and there's something to do with UR, which is very interesting. But this is how you scale. You just click scale, and then you can scale. That's pretty cool, right? So that you can scale. So that's how you transform an object, at least on the object mode, which we don't worry about that now. So that's how you transform like that. Then I'm going to talk about is how to create a collection. What is a collection? It's like a folder. It's a container. This is a collection. This is a scene collection. This is like the parent, like the biggest a bunch. And this is in this, you got these. Okay, and normally everything is when you start out, it's all available in this collection. Let's say you create another object. Wrong cube. That's what is wrong cube? That's yeah, this cube. Whatever. I just added. This cube is you won't see this option, by the way, and the reason you won't see it is because it's something else. It's like I add some mods I just added just to make my Blender experience much better. If you want to see, just add a normal cube or whatever. So to create a new collection or create a new folder, better way like that, just click M and then you click a new collection. And I want to type is round cube thing. Okay, wow, that goes no spelling up. So just click OK, and now you have created a new collection, and you can hide it like this, and you can also prevent it from rendering by clicking like this, and you can click this from not even having this even a thing, being a thing. So that, or you can hide individual elements and stop individually from rendering. That's something. And this arrow tells you what's under it in the round cube. It's whatever the symbol. Let's see what the symbol means. I forgot it. And that is a vertex object data properties. Yeah, it has its own data properties. So that's that. So that talks to you about how to create a collection. I think that's very important, right? The next one is how to add a modifier. Okay, add a modifier simply means you add a modifier. Just click over here and then you can add a modifier. What modifier does, it just adds modifiers. Adds something that modifies something. So you can modify it without disturbing the actual shape. So you can actually turn it off. You can actually do this. It's like a temporary thing that you can later make it permanent. It's very cool. You can click apply by Control A and it will apply. It's pretty cool. So that's that. There's tons of modifiers you can look up. There's tons of modifiers. Okay, but I just looked what array modifier that just creates duplicates that you have control over. It's pretty cool. So that's how we add a modifier. So that cuts that off. And the next thing I want to talk about is 2D cursor. The 2D cursor, you have to move it by clicking Shift and like this. I think that this is, sorry, not 2D, this is 3D cursor. Yeah. And this is very useful for many purposes. I won't be covering that in this short tutorial because everyone should know about this, and that's that. So now I'm gonna click Shift S, I think so, yeah, and then click a 3D cursor to origin. Right. And what I just did was Shift S, which gives you the control over a lot of stuff. You won't see this, I don't think so. This is like another thing I just added myself. It's a good modifier. I think so. I don't remember it, but yeah, whatever. Don't worry about this too much. So you got this, you will have this, and you'll have this, and you'll have this. You might have some other options in the future, but you got to origin to select it. So to select it, I click this, Shift S, and it goes to select it. Very good. And why is it useful? Well, let's say I go here. I want to move it to here. Now, how do you move it? Well, the cursor is already here, right? So I can just move it, like snap to the cursor, and it's set. So pretty cool. Wanted to show you that. So Shift S, I'm gonna make it to the origin. So that's that. By the way, if you move if you add a thing, let's add diamonds for now. It adds on top of the 2D cursor. So that's something you should know about. Okay, this is not a good introduction to Blender, by the way. This is just overall thing. I'm just talking about you should know about these. Okay, so that's that. How to create collection levels and how to use Shift S. And then other thing is click Tab, which will not show up. You have to click an object and then click Tab, which talks about all the modes available for that thing. Okay, all the modes available for thing. Okay, so you have edit mode, object mode, you'll have vertex mode, and all this stuff here. Okay, all these modes will be appearing also. Sculpting mode you'll have great paint, you'll have all these great modes, you'll have draw mode and all this. Now yours will be mine are different from mine, and that's because I have this thing installed on mine to make my life much easier and use his control much easier. You have a very similar thing, but not the same thing. Or you can actually change by just clicking here, and you can go edit mode, and you can do other stuff. So let's actually talk about the edit mode. We actually covered the object mode. But the edit mode is a lot. I won't be covering a lot of things here because it's edit mode, so very lot of stuff. You have to go and watch the donut tutorial. But in the edit mode, you can click it in individual vertex. Your vertex might be smaller. I have modified that to make mine visually more appealing. You can click an individual vertex and click G, click R. I don't know why R doesn't work, but R is available. Some things work, some things don't work, depending on the vertex and the shape and many things. You can click S, scale, so you can click but I just select 2 vertices, and you can click Shift and select the other vertex. You can select 2 things at once. So R, rotate, S, scale, A. So that's all that stuff is available over here. So that's the stuff. Okay, of course you can do the same R X and then or Y or Z. You can do all that stuff that you were able to do there. Then the final thing I will talk about here, just the quick stuff, is just click this, click E to extrude. Okay, that stuff. Okay, the extrude is to add more stuff, like add more extrusions. You can create whatever you want with this and whatever. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you can use extrusion to create whatever you want. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can go back to the object mode. So that covers everything that we will be touching on in animation, actually, or at least many things that will be ever like messing with ton much. We won't be messing with sculpting. We won't be messing with many things. There'll be UV editing. That's a mass topic. I just wanted to give you a recap. I won't be covering the entire thing, and the reason being it'll be too long of a video. But I hope that this remembrance tutorial talks about all the remembering. So that's that. I've covered all that stuff. Let's see if anything is remaining. How to control the origin, which is you just click here. Origins are very important. Just set origin to geometry. You can set origin to or geometry to origin. You can set origin to 3D cursor, origin to mass, origin to volume, and many other things you can do. So you can also select by this. So that's all the stuff I've covered. Let's go to you can click the camera to go into the camera view. You can click this to go into the orthographic view, or you can click 5 on the numpad to do the same thing. And you can control the rotation by just clicking 4, 6, 4 to move left, rotate left, 6 to move, right, and then 7 is, you can control this, which is simply clicking the axis view of each, which is very cool. So that's the very basic control system, everything. So everything at basic level. Nothing. This is not a tutorial for introduction. Remember, this is just for remembrance, what you should already know. So it won't be that high paced. Don't worry, it won't be that high paced. It was just high paced for this tutorial. So I hope you liked this simple episode I just wanted to make, just to remember that these are the stuff you should know, and much more actually. But if you got confused during this tutorial, that's because you haven't learned Blender, and you have to learn that. So you have to go and watch how to use Blender tutorials. But once you're done, you can come back and actually start learning 3D animation, okay? But before hopping, I just want to tell you guys that 2D animation is not same as 3D. Okay, there's differences. 2D animation is like, again, I talk about, it's like simply you have to draw individual frames. Individually, you have to draw each and every frame, which is time consuming, but gives beautiful results. 3D animation is when you have to simulate stuff, when you have to, nowadays all 3D, right? But it doesn't feel good. So you currently a lot of industries are trying to mimic the 2D style on 3D. So something to give, it makes things look beautiful, right? Hand drawn and all that. But 3D, it gives you like more control. Like the animation is much easier. It takes longer to render and all that stuff, but it's like you don't have to put in the work. It's a computer doing the most of the work now. You can just use the curves. You can use, don't worry if you don't understand this, you can use the curves. You can use, like automation processes. You can just, copy and all, paste and all great stuff, all the great stuff. So that's just something about animation. It's just something I just want to talk about. And so if you like 2D animation, you can go that. This is for 3D animation in Blender. 2D animation has its own area, which I actually love also. So yeah, 2D animation is something that I really love, but 3D gives me more control and much easier for me to do, where I just want to just render stuff very quickly and I don't animate that much. So hopefully you understood this. If you don't, just rewatch all the donut tutorials again. But yeah, so welcome to the 3D course of animation. The file, not this one, the later files will be available in the link below in the Gumroad, which you can buy. You can buy to support me, but you don't have to. You can just watch it all for free. I recommend you just enjoying yourself. Then later on you can support me if you like it or not. Depends on you. So yeah, this episode one. I hope you enjoyed it. This was actually very fun. I just made it in a hurry because there was a lot of things to cover, but I just want to tell you that this is how you should be prepared for the course. There's all the requirements and pre-requirements. So yeah, let's see you at episode 2, which will be not high-paced, by the way. And it might have a sound weirdness. That's because it's a little old recording. But yeah, so thank you for watching. See you on the next episode, which is episode 2. So yeah, thank you.